I'm Steve White with a check of ag news on this MLK Day. As a reminder, markets are closed for the holiday. As Congress begins a scheduled review of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, Congressman Adrian Smith says the trade deal remains critical for agriculture, including Nebraska corn growers. Smith says USMCA gave the U.S. a formal process to challenge Mexico when it attempted to block imports of U.S. biotech white corn.
We were able to challenge Mexico, for example, when they were shutting out biotech U.S. corn, basically white corn, biotech corn. Mexico wanted to shut that out. Because of USMCA, we were able to push back and prevail and got Mexico to change their position on that.
White corn is grown in parts of western and central Nebraska, especially around the Gothenburg area. Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen is in central Nebraska today after a quick trip to D.C. talking rural issues. Alex Makovica has more.
The launch of a new federal rural health transformation program. That program aimed at strengthening health care in rural communities.
I'm all about the rural community. We won the rural communities by numbers that nobody's ever won them before, and we're taking care of those great people.
Nebraska is slated to receive just over $218 million in the first year of the program. Governor Jim Pillen joined the president at the White House to mark that launch.
This plan will allow us to do common sense, pragmatic investments in rural Nebraska.
State officials say the funding represents a long-term opportunity to modernize rural health systems and improve sustainability across Nebraska's rural communities.
Thanks, Alex. You're listening to the Rural Radio Network.
The Rural Radio Network is taking flight. We're proud to announce our newest partnership with the Lincoln Airport, the official airport of the Rural Radio Network. With easy parking, shorter lines, and new nonstop flights, it's never been simpler to travel from right here in Nebraska's capital city. And now, Lincoln Airport is taking you straight to the sunshine with new direct flights to Orlando starting in December. Learn more at lincolnairport.com.
Bryce Duskett here with the Rural Radio Network. You've heard us talk about this new podcast we launched called Surviving the Family Farm. It's a show where we dive into the real issues facing family operations. Topics like succession, conflict, and what happens when business and family collide. It's a show where we have 3 experts, no fluff, just honest conversations. You can watch and listen online right now at ruralradionetwork.com. And we want to hear from you. What questions should we tackle next? Submit your question at ruralradio.com/ask.
From shock to reality, Lexington watches its Tyson plant shut down. I'm Steve White. It's midday. Time now for Top Ag News on the Rural Radio Network. Officially, Tyson announced its Lexington beef plant would shut down as of January 20th. However, in recent days, as we drive by the plant just up the road from our studio, it's been apparent things have been winding down for a couple of weeks. The ever-present flow of trucks coming in has ended. And in videos shared on Facebook over the weekend, they show employees filing out. Employees remove their hard hats, drop them in bins, discarding white jackets. Shots of production areas vacant. Buena suerte. Good luck, the signs read as employees shake hands on their way out. Tyson had employed more than 3,000 workers in Lexington. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is urging the U.S. Ag Secretary to block that shutdown. Schumer calls on USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins to use authority under the Packers and Stockyards Act, arguing the closure could illegally manipulate beef prices. The Lexington plant accounts for roughly 5% of the nation's beef processing capacity. Schumer cites a University of Nebraska-Lincoln analysis estimating a $3.3 billion annual economic impact statewide, and warns consumers could see higher beef prices if the plant closes as scheduled January 20th, which it does appear to be doing. USDA has said it is monitoring the situation, but has not indicated any plans to intervene. Just 1 millimeter away from a national catastrophe, Alex Makovica tells us more.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection specialists at the Detroit Metropolitan Airport intercepted remains of the Capra beetle. It's considered one of the world's most destructive grain pests and was located inside a small bag of undeclared seeds. Over the weekend, USDA APHIS said that discovery was made last April during a secondary inspection of a traveler returning from Lebanon. Due to its invasive nature, the capra beetle is one of several insects that USDA considers quarantine significant, dead or alive.
Thanks, Alex. Neighboring Kansas is contending with the worst outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza in the United States. Federal officials say Kansas has more than 414,000 birds confirmed infected with the disease, also known as bird flu. A majority of infections, 380,000, have occurred at about 380,000, have occurred at a single commercial poultry farm in Pottawatomie County, part of 4 commercial and 6 backyard flocks affected statewide, according to the USDA. The strain is highly lethal to birds, but considered low risk to the general public. State officials said migrating wild waterfowl are likely spreading the virus. Today we remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., not only as a civil rights leader, but also as a voice for farmers and rural issues. You may not know, but as a young man, King worked summers on a Connecticut tobacco farm, where he first experienced life beyond segregation in the South, an experience he later said shaped his call to serve. Later in life, King spoke directly about agriculture, calling out what he saw as discrimination that denied black farmers access to land, loans, and opportunity. King believed justice wasn't just about laws or speeches. It was about economic fairness, food, and dignity on the land. And that part of his dream still echoes across rural America today. You're listening to the Rural Radio Network.